This is the biggest open AI model ever released. 2.8 trillion parameters. And there is no machine you own that can run it. None. Let me show you exactly why. Kimi K3 dropped last week. Fully open weights, a million token context, and it just took the #1 spot on the open weight leaderboards. Everyone's posting the benchmark chart. I want to do the thing nobody's doing, show you what it actually takes to run it. And why, for basically all of us. That's a wall. Two things surprise me. One, there's no version of this that runs on consumer hardware, not a 4090, not a Mac Studio. 2, everyone's calling its license modified MIT. It isn't. Buried in it is a clause maybe 4 companies on earth will ever trip, and I'll get to it. Here's what you're actually pulling. 96 files, 1.5 to 6 terabytes of weights. Watch the disk meter hold that thought because it matters in a minute. First, what's inside those 96 files? Because the architecture is the reason it's this big. 2.8 trillion parameters, that's the headline. But it's a mixture of experts model. It does not fire all of them for every word. Inside are 896 separate expert networks, and for any given token, a router picks just 16 to run. So the active work per token is about 104 billion parameters a mid-size model's compute, riding on a giant's worth of stored knowledge. Why build it that way? That's how you get smarter without getting proportionally slower. Versus their last model, Moonshot nearly doubled the experts while keeping the active count flat. They claim that's about a 2.5 times jump in scaling efficiency, that's their number. Grain of salt. And it delivers on the Artificial Analysis Intelligence Index. K3 scores 57, that means nothing on its own. So here's scale. 57 is third, overall same tier as Opus 4.8 and GPT-5.5. First time an open weight model has been in that conversation at all. Next open model down, GLM 5.2 sits at 51. As of late July 2026, one line to hold on to. Open weights is not open source. Moonshot handed you the finished weights, the numbers, not the training code, not the data. You can run it and build on it. You can't rebuild it. Here's the number the whole thing hinges on. How does 2.8 trillion parameters become 1.5 terabytes? Let me derive it. Because if you can't follow this, you can't fill the gap. These weights ship at 4 bits each. 4 bits is half a byte. Take 2.8 trillion, halve it 1.4 trillion bytes. That's 1.4 terabytes. Just to hold the model in memory before it does anything. Now put that against a real GPU. A top consumer card has 24 gigabytes. 1.4 terabytes is about 60 of those cards. Not 2, not 8, 60. And it's not just memory. 16 of 800 experts firing per token means the GPUs are constantly talking to each other. So Moonshot's own floor is a 64 plus accelerator supernode 64. So plainly there is no consumer path here. Not a 4090, not 2, not a Mac Studio in the corner. This was never built to run on your desk. Which would be the end of it, except you might still want to use this thing, you just won't be hosting it. And before I show you how that license, I promised you. Every write-up calls this modified MIT. It is not MIT, it's a custom license. Moonshot wrote the Kimi K3 license, and here's its real shape. Free for commercial use. No attribution required until you get big. Then 2 separate things kick in, and people keep mashing them together. Condition 1 is about running K3 as a service where you hand others access to the model itself. If that business pulls more than $20 million across any consecutive 12-month window aggregate, company and affiliates, you need a separate agreement with Moonshot. Not attribution, a signed agreement. Condition 2 is different, it's about your own product, not reselling the model. If that product crosses 100 million monthly active users or $20 million a month in revenue, you must display the words Kimi K3 in your interface. That's attribution, but only at that scale. 2 thresholds, 2 obligations. And straight up, I'm not a lawyer, this isn't legal advice. The file's linked below if you're near these numbers, read the clauses yourself. Here's why it matters even if you're nowhere close. Both thresholds are high enough that almost everyone watching will never touch them. Which is exactly why nobody reads the file, and exactly why the handful of companies that do cross the line get blindsided. They inherited a license everyone told them was basically MIT. It isn't. That's the part nobody reads. Now, the part everyone gets wrong. You can't host it, so you rent it. 3 ways. 1. The API. $3 per million tokens in 15 out. And the good part, 30 cents per million on cached input. Hammer the same long context and that read gets 90% cheaper, premium tier pricing in the league of the top closed models. 2. Free. A regular Kimi.com account can talk to K3 right now, no card. Want to feel out whether it's smart enough for your work? Start there today for nothing. 3. The comparison people actually need. Everyone pits K3 against DeepSeek V4 Pro. On a split on raw intelligence, K3 wins 57 to 44 on that same index. Both give you a full million token context. So that's a wash. But one of these two is roughly 17 times cheaper to run, and it's not the one you'd guess. DeepSeek's output is under $1 per million. K3's is 15. So the rule: reach for K3 on long code and long document work when you want the best open intelligence money can rent. Reach for DeepSeek when cost decides. One sentence more useful than any benchmark chart. Which brings me to the verdict: 3 answers. And one of them is going to annoy some people. Should you care about Kimi K3? Depends entirely on who you are. 3 answers, and I mean them. If you build apps, you ship products, you use software, use the API, and completely ignore the weights, that it's open does nothing for you. It's a great model behind an endpoint. Treat it like one. If you do serious long context work, whole code bases, whole documents, massive context, this is genuinely the best open option available right now, not close. And if you're a hobbyist who wanted to run the biggest open model on your own machine, and I get that urge, it's half the reason any of us got into this. Skip it. Run a smaller open model that actually fits. This one is not for your hardware, and every dollar you spend pretending otherwise is wasted. It's still the right call. The most open model in the world, and for most of us the honest move is to rent it or walk away. That's the strange place we're in. Biggest open model ever made. Can't run it at home, cheap enough on the API, the real winner for long context, and a license worth actually reading if you ever get big. Comments: are you running open models in production yet, or still on the closed APIs? I read every reply. Subscribe if you want this stuff without the hype. And if you want the model that actually does run on your desk, that's the next one.